is ADA compliant, which is nice. It's nice to see that there's an ADA compliant option for folks out here. You know, a motorized wheelchair or someone with enough, you know, strength could get through here with a, you know, a typical wheelchair or even a walker. And, even the sidewalks along here in the community, along Fisher Boulevard, you'll see people out walking all the time. And when I was just out a little while ago, there are folks out running, going for walks and stuff. And
runners always go out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we'll start going for a little walk here and talk a little bit about sort of the three observations that I have for this particular end of the trail. So there's wetland, and we've got old growth and new growth forest. And then as we get up towards the end of the Fisher Trail itself, where it connects to DEC, we'll see field and meadow. So here we'll just take a little wander and do a little bit of looking and talking and a little bit of walking and see what we can find today.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is a nice little spot too.
So when did this connect with Five Rivers?
So there was a project with DEC, I believe in 2021 or so. But there is a DEC page that outlines kind of like the goals for this. And this is also in collaboration with Mohawk Hudson. But yeah, this is a nice little sort of connector to the broader expanse of DEC's Five Rivers area, which is quite nice. The Discovery Center is there. I believe they're open most days except for Sunday from 8 to 1 or 8 to 4. And you'll see a lot of, like, even in winter, a lot of cross-country skis, snowshoe, stuff like that through here. And this lot is typically plowed and maintained, so it's a nice little easy access for
And it's a big
nearby.
lot.
Yeah. All right, let's head out.
All right. That's interesting. It connects right up. Learning faucet out here or what?
Yep, most definitely.
You'll see here, so the boulevard is named after our largest member of the weasel family, the Fisher.
So you do have a population of fishers here.
Yes, there's a population of fishers here. There's also a population of fishers that I can confirm up at Kelleher Preserve above Altamont. Yeah, they're the largest member of the weasel family. Very adept and aggressive hunters. We've also got porcupine. Porcupine prefer hemlock stands, but you will see them out here in the pines. All kinds of bird, wildlife, stuff like that. But this is named after the Fisher, sometimes called the Fisher cat. They're very interesting critters, ranging in size. Biggest one I've seen is around about there. They typically will nest and den up in trees, in hollows. The females can actually delay pregnancy. They mate sometimes in the fall, sometime in the fall and autumn, and then they'll delay pregnancy and giving birth until February. And you'll typically see around the tree where their den is, there'll be urine markings all over the place, bunch of like tamped down snow and things in February. And typically you'll see the males, like if you kind of see an area like that, if you start looking around, you may see the male just kind of like hanging out, just draped over like a branch somewhere, is chilling, kind of garden, looking out for stuff. And at this point in the year, the young are usually out and about. Doing their thing.
We might see
I've never seen one of these guys.
Never seen porcupine?
I am still lacking a in-person sighting of a porcupine. Yep. Yeah, my bucket list animals are, since I picked up doing wildlife photography more, getting a porcupine and a great gray owl. Kind of my two bucket lists for this year. So
Mine are
hopefully.
porcupine and moose.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we occasionally get moose down through here.
Yeah.
It's not common, but they do venture down. So yeah, that's kind of know, the history behind the naming of the place. So you'll see through here, this will be all wetland. And it's kind of the song of upstate New York and our mix of both native and invasive plants. So you'll see these little dark rattlesnake-looking kind of things. That's a native fern. These large thorny bushes are, of course, multiflora rose. Really easily noticeable by the backwards curving thorn, where you can't really walk past them because they hook a hold of you. And that gray bird that just flitted through up there,
Wasn't that a robin?
that is a gray catbird.
Yeah?
Yep, and they're a mimic, so they, much like mockingbirds, they'll pick up different tunes, and so sometimes you'll hear and think like, oh, is that a blue jay or a chickadee or something like that, and it's a gray catbird. But they're most noticeable by their actual call, which is kind of this raspy like caw. Kind of sounds like a cat. Meow. You'll see here too. These are a native. You'll see a lot of these through here. This is red dogwood or red twigwood.
Dogwood. Okay.
Red osier dogwood, and that is a native to the northeast. The only place that doesn't grow is in the southern Great Plains and very far southern mid-U.S. It really put out nice clusters of white berries, and it's a real boom plant for feeding by a lot of our birds and animals around. Invasive.
Honeysuckle?
That is autumn olive.
Oh, it's the olive. Okay.
Yep. So that's autumn olive, and you can see this time of year easily identified by like, you know, the bark pattern speckly. A lot of the like growth on it, it's kind of fuzzy and soft, and you'll see that center portion kind of starts to get like a little spiky, and the small little fruit starting to come in clusters of 3 in there. But, so that's one of our pervasive autumn olives. And again, this is the red dogwood, and you'll see those are the berries beginning to form. So when that reaches fruiting maturity, it's this nice bright cluster of white, and the birds just love it. And it's actually very easy to propagate. It will actually grow down if it touches the ground. It'll put out roots. So you can take clippings, put them in some water, some dirt, and they'll root very readily. I have a lot of those on my property. But areas like this really loved by a lot of birds. And of course you can see here's remnants of bittersweet, which birds also love, but unfortunately eating it and pooping the seeds out really helps propagate it even further. So we'll see a bunch of that in here too. And it's typically this kind of odd mix of, some native stuff like the dogwood, the autumn olive, bittersweet in here trying to get a foothold. And this will be an older kind of growth forest. Not, ancient by any means, but still relatively large pines through here. And this is a nice area for if you're an animal watcher at all. You'll see a lot of squirrels and birds and deer. In some of these areas, turkeys really love to.
This is so rich out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll see as we walk along, this is a very interesting little trail because of the transitions that happen in here. It's kind of fun to walk through and take notice of just the variety that's going on out here. Another thing you'll see too is these canes that you see growing in here that are kind of powdery white
Yeah.
and red. Native berry, blackberry. You'll see it mixed in with the, like, this is multiflora,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but then this is, you know, our blackberry or black cat berry, which I've come through here before and had a few snacks.
Mm-hmm.
More red dogwood, which is good to see it clustering up like that. And you'll see even in there the dead stalks of, there's some milkweed even,
Oh, yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
Yeah.
found enough sunlight and space to do
Mm-hmm.
its thing.
So what was this property before?
This property before, like most in the area, was, I believe, farmland.
Farmland?
Yep. Which it could have been anything from, I would say probably livestock.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cattle rearing would happen in the woods. I know up on where Steve and I were kind of doing some work in the Bosun Kill for the Hemlock Project. They used to raise cattle up there. And then, so right here as well, does anyone know what this is? It's pretty sizable, so this is a good healthy plant right here.
There's some ones. Oh,
Well, you'll see, so like, here's some more down here, a younger sucker that came through.
Mm-hmm.
it's thorny.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
thorny.
Yeah.
Very rough to kind of get in there. So you'll see it's not, this is multiflora right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not a multiflora.
Mm-hmm.
It also doesn't have that white powder like we saw on black cap raspberries. So this is a sawtooth blackberry.
Yeah.
And these are delicious, in my opinion. And I've
And when
eaten
do
from
these
this one.
flower? I mean, the fruit, not flower.
These will fruit like late summer.
Late summer.
Late summer into early fall. Yeah, and these tend to grow pretty wild. I have some of these on my property. I would assume that at one point when this was agriculture, these were, you know, being cultivated for jams and preserves and things like that. But yeah, this is another native to us. These grow. Yep. You'll see here's like a small one growing right through here. And this is kind of what they do. They get pretty big and then they'll start to reach out. And they'll go underneath the leaves where all the nice decomposition and nutrients are going in. They'll put little roots out and sprout up through again. So sometimes you'll
So
see
these are easy to propagate.
yeah, these are very easy to propagate. You can, you know, I've relocated some on my property, dug them up, moved them in the fall, and even, you know, rooted a few of them, helped them kind of go underneath the leaves a little bit in my woods and, you know, get as many of them as I can going so I have a
Where's
nice little...
your home?
I live over in Gildan Center, off of like Depot Road.
Okay.
That's an old farm property. We've got about 10 acres. 8 of it is young wood and forest. And it used to be part of the apple orchards in the area that Mott's Apple
really?
used to get some of their supplies from back in the day. Yeah, and as far as I know, it's been in probably about 2 families since before us. Used to be part of a much bigger property, but was subdivided over the years. And we have one of the, not the larger remaining, you know, divisions of it, but one of the few that are not cut down to an acre and a half or so. And you see through here, this is going to be mostly very large white pine. And you see has done some work for the drainage and the typical water that runs through. It's a little late to see things like, you know,
he said he's going to like to break off some of the blackbirds and take them home and,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and cut down here.
They are very good kind of for like on the edge of woods or in shade or along the side of the house. That's why you'll see a lot of them like right there, even as that powdery cane of the black raspberry. And they grow and they tend to fruit alternate years. Yeah. So like
Really? Yeah.
I put some in one year,
Uh-huh.
and then the following year I put more in. So that way when they alternate, if you get enough of them, you tend to get a consistent crop at least. 2 years ago was a boom for me. Even the ones across the road, I was going over and in the thickets, and like I'm brushing ticks off me and stuff, and risking it to get a bumper crop, and I still I try to leave a bunch for the animals and stuff, and there were still tons and tons and tons of them. So yeah, when they really start fruiting on a good year, there's quite a bit. I've seen turkey in this area quite frequently. It's nice
And
and open,
the
good
turkeys
scratching.
usually nest in the trees, right?
Yep. Yep. Nest in low trees, even on the ground.
They do nest on the ground. I thought that they always try to be higher up.
They try to be up usually. I've seen a few nests like pretty low. Yeah, this is a good area for turkey. They come through and kind of scrubland, open forest floor, scratching for bugs and other good stuff to eat.
One thing that amazed me on a walk up north, what the place was, they had a wood duck
Oh yeah.
birdhouse.
Yep.
Way up in the tree,
way up, yeah.
and he was saying that that's what they like to do.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, when their chicks are born, they can't fly.
Yeah.
And he says they'll just jump out.
Yeah.
And you'll walk by and they'll boom.
The chicks will literally belly flop out to the forest floor. Let's see, where are we? So further down Fisher Boulevard, there's a spot where wood ducks like to nest. And the parking for it, there's like 3 or 4 spots, and it's in that development, the housing complex there, and it's Phillip and Kill Preserve, and it's a Mohawk Hudson Preserve. Very kind of hilly, and like it's small, but it's absolutely beautiful. All kinds of like fungus and mushrooms and bird life, but there's a population of wood ducks there where the Phillip and Kill comes and winds its way down. It's a nice like little wetland area, and I've seen wood ducks. I haven't seen any like chicks before, but yeah, there's a population of them, and that's a nice. It's like I said, it's a little steep and hilly. It'd be slippery on a day like this, but that's a nice preserve. And then the Toohey Farm Preserve is once you hit the intersection of Fisher, you take a right. Toohey's up that way. You take a left. Swift Wetland Preserve is further down. So there's quite a few like diverse areas just in this little bit of Cumberland and Belmont.
Well, maybe you can lead a walk in the Philippine Hill in the fall.
Yeah, and that's beautiful in the fall when the leaves are changing color. That's a very nice little spot. And then what you'll see here is we're kind of out of our larger section of old growth, and this is relatively young forest here. And most of this is red maple.
Really?
So this is a nice little stand of red maple that at some point it's that transition from conifers to red maples, and there's quite a few in here. It's a nice little stand. I like this area for just coming in. I'll early morning I'll sit on this bench with my camera, and you can hear the birds, and there will be a lot of bird activity with good viewpoints through the forest floor.
What's with all these branches here? Making some
So
sort of
this one's-
shelter?
I think this is just a bunch of local folks. I would probably guess kids coming in, hanging out, having fun. This has always been like this here. Ever since I've been coming through.
Yeah. When we started coming here from Five Rivers, we started to see this. Why all these branches here?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. This has been here for quite a while. There's one even further in back. They kind of practice building like.
Oh yeah. I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see it in there. Yeah. I think it's folks coming through with kids and stuff and just having a little fun being outside. It's a nice little spot.
So would this be like a type of tree where you will find a fisher in?
Yep, yeah, you would see fishers are very adept climbers, so you'll see them in any and all kind of trees. But yeah, especially pine forests and hemlock forests, they really prefer. They're omnivores, so they'll eat squirrels and birds and eggs and berries and bugs. And what's kind of unique about them too, what makes them such adept climbers and able to get at squirrels, is unlike most mammals, their legs, their hands, their wrist and ankle joints, they can pivot like we can. So they can climb up a tree, head up, and they can also climb down the tree facing down.
Oh, facing down, not butt down.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So porcupines can only come back down butt first. You'll see them fall out of trees all the time too.
Right.
Like whatever. But yeah, fishers are very adept, and because of that ability to rotate and the claws that they have on them, I've seen you'll see videos and stuff of fishers chasing a squirrel, and like the endurance is just astounding.
The squirrels can run face down. Can climb face down.
Yeah. So they are one of the if you're a squirrel, you see a fisher, get going because they're quick. They'll catch them too.
So are they also very aggressive?
Not towards people.
What about, I know like wolverines are very aggressive.
They're aggressive in that way.
Yeah.
Wolverines, badgers, they're a quite tenacious creature. And I've heard of them being kind of territorial, like folks walk through, but for the most part, if you respect their distance and personal space, I've sat and hung out and walked.
So they're not so aggressive as wolverines and badgers.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume that if you got pretty close to like one of their like den areas during the right time, they might give you a good warning. But for the most part, I've not heard of anyone being attacked by them. But yeah, they're quite aggressive and tenacious with one another, and very very aggressive hunters. But yeah, they're wonderful and astounding animals.
So what would they hunt it for originally? For the fur?
Yep, for their pelts. This here, I believe, might be like a Calgary pear or some form of pear. I was looking at it earlier and I couldn't quite tell. And like that's pretty dried out and shriveled at this stage. But the pears typically are like reddish brown and only about that big and not very good. And it's kind of a naturalized.
Is this a slug?
Yep. Yeah. On his way, he's a smaller one. This is like their
Oh, there's another one. Yeah.
gentle rain, plenty of water. Not quite yet. We're getting there though. You hear the cry of birds.
What do you have there?
So that's a goldfinch. That's a male goldfinch right there. And there's a rabbit.
Oh yeah, rabbit.
If you freeze, there's a cottontail. I call this rabbit alley right here because I always see them in here. So if you want to see rabbits from here all the way up through till we hit the field, because this is so dense and so protected. They love it in here, and you'll see where they browse over the winter.
What would be their natural enemy over here?
For rabbits, foxes, coyotes, hawks.
So you do have them here. Do
Yep.
you have any of
Fishers
those?
too, I would
Yep,
imagine.
fishers.
Fishers too. Yeah.
Fishers will go after them. But you can see here, this autumn olive, the rabbits, probably at the peak of winter, getting a little hungry on other stuff to browse.
And
They
so it
choose
started
the-
to bark.
Yep.
Ah.
Yeah, you'll see that in a few spots through here. But yeah, this is a lot of cottontail through here. And you can see their little trail. There's like a little loop in the mud down there.
Yeah.
Their little pathways and alleyways. Right there. So you can see it in the top of that tree as well. That is an eastern towhee.
Oh.
So they're black across their back. They've got an orangish red kind of near the breast, and then a white full chest. Yeah, so there's quite a few of those in here too. Their song is like lovely. The song's got this weird kind of almost digital trill to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting.
Oh, another
Another friend.
another rabbit.
And they're pretty chill too. Like, I think enough people walk through here that they've.
Is there a case with them with overpopulation,
Not
or
really.
are they being controlled by foxes and
They're
other
being
things?
fairly well controlled
Yeah.
by the predator population. You can see he's,
Not particularly
yeah,
concerned.
yeah, continuing to eat and just like, hey, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Well, they can be like.
And he's quite a big size too.
Yeah.
That's quite a big size rabbit
Yeah,
when you
that's a
consider
decent
it.
sized rabbit.
Yeah.
Probably a year and a half, 2 years old at this point. Their average lifespan in the wild is, average is usually about 3-4 years.
3-4 years.
Yeah. Mostly because of, predation,
prey,
obviously.
Right, right.
And then rabbits, like most small mammals, their reproductive cycles are pretty quick, so they're